evening, everybody. It's Neil Frankel. And yeah, over the weekend, I have had more and more people ask me about Bitcoin, and it's almost becoming a crescendo. So I know there's a lot of people with questions. I thought I would explain, as I understand it, what Bitcoin is and what the opportunities and risks are. So let's go through it. So first of all, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. It's a digital currency that's encrypted. And you have to think about it not only as a currency, but more important, as a decentralized currency. This is going to be really important, as you'll see. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Yeah. Okay, so how much has it gone up in value? Well, a few years ago, you could buy Bitcoin for a couple of bucks. And at the start of 2017, it cost $1,000 for each Bitcoin. And on Tuesday of this week, in the middle of December, or first part of December, it was going for $12,000 per Bitcoin. So from $1 to $12,000. On Thursday, it got up to $19,000 before settling back. I don't know if you could say settling back, but it closed on Friday at about $15,000 per Bitcoin. Now, that's irrationality. The price can go up and down 20% within a few hours. There's very little understanding of what Bitcoin really is. And there are some scammers out there. So I want to give you the information you need so that you won't really have to worry about being taken advantage of. And more importantly, you'll make good decisions around this investment, if you can call it that. Okay, so first, when and why did it begin? Well, the idea of a cryptocurrency, and there are many besides Bitcoin, but the idea behind this it began in 2008. And the reason it started was because in the financial crisis, banks, insurance companies, everybody was in this whole financial industry was in great turmoil. And in many respects, as a result of very, very bad decisions made by those organizations and also the government, in my opinion, over many years. I'm not pinning it on any one administration. The events that led up to the financial crisis didn't start in 2008. It started decades before. But in any event, so the financial world was in turmoil. Banks were closing. Financial institutions, brokerages were closing. Insurance companies. So someone came up with the idea of a currency that was decentralized, that wouldn't be dependent on one organization. There would be oversight, but wouldn't be by one company. So that's how it started, and there's good thinking behind it. If you can think about this concept of digital currency within that context, it makes a lot of sense. So if there isn't a company or government agency behind Bitcoin or any other digital currency, how is it controlled? Well, there's a few ways it's controlled. First of all, from the very beginning, it was designed to only have 21 million coins in circulation. That's all there can be, ever, 21 million. And currently there are 16 million coins. So they can't just be produced and produced and produced ad infinitum. Okay. And number two, and this is very important, there's this network of peer-to-peer, what they're called miners. And these people look for codes. They look for codes within all the transactions. So whenever there's a transaction, there's a unique number that identifies the parties involved in what the transaction that took place. So as a result of that, when the miners establish this number or determine this number, find it, calculate it, whatever you want to use, they look and all this whole network of people are competing to find it first. Then it gets published, and then that particular currency can't be used more than once. So why do these people do that? These are people all over the world, networks and groups, and it costs money to do it. You need big computing power to go in there and take a look, to go in and determine what the electronic footprint was of that particular transaction. It costs energy, time, hardware, software, a lot of stuff. They do it because they get rewarded with coins. They get 3 coins every time they find a, at least as of the writing of this, they were getting 3 coins per transaction. So there's a lot of money involved. There's also a lot of competition because those coins are worth a lot of money right now. Okay, so what's important to understand is that these people, they take the place of the miners. They're the people who take the place of the centralized organization. So it's very important to keep those people doing what they do. They're the ones who really control the overall system. Now, who really needs Bitcoin? In reality, there are only 2 groups of people who need Bitcoin. One group are people who don't want, they want to go on the down low, as the kids would say. They want to fly under the radar of the government because they don't want anyone knowing what they're doing. And number 2, people who have access to the internet but don't have access to currency. So that might be people in underdeveloped countries. Could be if they have internet. I don't, it depends on the situation. Could be in other countries like Russia where they want to have, or China, or other countries where they don't want to use the currency, the local currency, but want something else. So there's, let's say, hopefully less inflation. Of course, when you're talking about going from $1,000 to $15,000, that kind of, it's not a stable currency at all. But theoretically, those are the 2 groups: people who don't want to be seen by the government, any government, what's going on, because it's totally invisible to the government. They can't see who's doing what at this point, and I'll get to that in a minute. Or people who want to have, who want currency but don't have access to it. So those are the only 2 really groups of people who benefit by using Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. Now, who's using it? Well, probably bad guys are using it to buy and sell things that they don't want the government to know about. And also, the biggest group of people are traders, people who are buying and selling Bitcoin for its own price changes. Now, what's fascinating, and something that most people I don't think know about, is that there are fewer people, fewer vendors that accept Bitcoin today than there were 3 years ago. There are only 3 companies on the S&P 500 that accept Bitcoin. Fewer and fewer transactions are being made using the currency to trade for something other than other Bitcoins or dollars or whatever the local currency is. So people are speculating and trading for currency, other currencies, but they're not using it for its intended purpose, which was to buy and sell goods and services. Okay, so having said that, there it goes. What's going to happen to Bitcoin? Well, obviously, I don't know for sure. But one option is that the governments could start regulating it. It's true that you can make transactions without the government seeing what you're doing. No problem there. But if you, at some point, if you want to pull your Bitcoin out and trade it for dollars or yen or something else, because no one else is accepting it for payment, the government could say, well, we're going to tax you on that transaction. VAT, profit gain, whatever. They might start taxing it. Could easily happen. if you want to move it into dollars now, or again, some other currency. Number two, this is and that's a real possibility. Number two, there's only 21 million coins available. They have 16 million out there. As long as the miners keep working, the system will work. But at some point, they'll run out of the coins, and then the miners won't have a reason to do their work unless something structurally changes. My guess is that when that happens, or before that happens, Bitcoin will introduce a different coin that you can then transfer your Bitcoins into some other current cryptocurrency, and they'll overcome that problem. There are other currencies that already have overcome this problem, where they charge transaction fees, and those fees go into paying for the people who are doing the decentralized checking and auditing. And those currencies, by the way, are much more stable. Okay. So, and this is more to do with any cryptocurrency. Right now, fewer and fewer people are actually using the currency to buy goods and services. Something could happen where that could change. I don't know, but it's foreseeable that that could happen. And if it were to happen, the value of Bitcoin, so long as it was here, could go up, right? Or other currencies could go up in value when people are starting to use it more. But until the real value of this cryptocurrency is when people start using it. And right now, it's going the other way. Fewer and fewer people are using it. So all this price fluctuation is speculation. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to the price of Bitcoin over the short run, but over the long run, I'm really worried about it. I don't think I'm the only one, and I think you're much better off to spend your time, instead of trying to figure out cryptocurrency and how to use it right now and how to make money using it, because it's all speculation. Instead of doing that, work on your long-term financial plan, stick to that, and you're going to be much better off in the long run. You might get lucky with the next Bitcoin and buy it for a couple of bucks and sell it for 15,000 or 19 or 27. I don't know what it might be, but in the long run, the speculators, in my experience, in just generally speaking, speculation is not a great way to build wealth and to achieve your long-term goals. If you have questions, let me know. I'd be delighted to kick it around with you. Have a great weekend. Have a great week, holiday season. Thanks again.